Before watching this video, be sure to click on the link in the description to vote for the 2011 Slammy Awards, which me and Omar will be hosting, where we'll be showing all the top moments from WWE and TNA in one video. Now, the last poll actually got a lot more votes than I thought it would. Now, every new video, there will be a new poll for you to vote on, so be sure to stay updated. Now, TNA for this week, it really did feel like wrestling mattered, because there was nothing but wrestling matches. We only got one in-ring segment, and of course, the backstage segments that they usually get. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to like this episode. We got a match between Crimson and Elijah Burke, where Elijah Burke gave his sunglasses to a plant. And you want to know how I know it was a plant? Because that kid, that same kid, got a football from Randy Orton as well. You can't tell me that's not a plant. Anyway, about Crimson, a lot of people really don't care about Crimson or his undefeated streak. As far as people care, he could lose next week and nobody's really going to care all that much. And he's been undefeated for almost a year now, so it really should feel like much more of a big deal than it does now. And they're trying to make it seem like a big deal, but nobody really cares. And that's the thing. And what happened to the thing with Steve On and Elijah Burke that was going on? Guess that was dropped. We also got an X Division match featuring the other guy that gets featured besides the same four people. And one of the bad things to this is whenever they feature somebody else that they brought in originally, it's going to be like, wait, who's this jobber? What's this guy? He's going to lose a match. But one of the good things is at least they're being consistent with Randy Orton, as opposed to what they normally do, where they have someone give him a push, take him off TV, then bring him back 2 months later, give him a push, and then take him off TV again. So at least they're not doing that with this guy, and they're actually pushing him, and it looks like they really do have a future plan for this guy, which is one of the good things about this. And we also had a match between AJ Styles and Daniels, and I'm wondering, didn't Daniels say that he was never going to fight AJ Styles ever again? But at least this match was better than the last two matches they've had this year. That's really not saying a whole lot. But it furthered the storyline between Christopher Daniels and Bob Van Dam. And there was also the Jersey Shore thing, and just like with any celebrity appearance, comedy match, celebrity gets tagged in, does 2 moves, and then they win the match, never to be seen or heard from again. And the people that were in the program with them also don't get seen or heard from again for a long while. Same thing that happened with Zack Ryder the last 2 times they brought in Jersey Shore people. So this type of stuff never really works in the long run. It's just a one-time thing to boost their ratings, which is something TNA likes to do, even though no matter how many times their ratings go up, they just go right back down again. We also had a Knockouts Tag match, and this was only the second time that the Knockouts champion has appeared on TV since winning the championship. Gail Kim has been more of an important focus, and I know a lot of people like that. A lot of people love Gail Kim, think she's one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. That's perfectly fine. But I'm just saying, this is the same stuff people were complaining about when Winter wasn't appearing on TV when she was champion. And nobody's complaining about Velvet not being on TV, even though she's the champion. But Velvet didn't even win this match, and I'm noticing a pattern with Velvet now. It seems like she's just doing the same moves in every match now. I'm kind of starting to notice that. Hopefully she doesn't become like Kelly. That's all I can say. But anyway, Velvet loses the match, and this could be a good thing as long as Velvet retains at the pay-per-view. If Velvet loses at the pay-per-view, that's just going to be really stupid. I know a lot of people will probably mark out for that. But I'm just saying, that'll be like the 50th straight championship run that meant nothing in this company. Now on to the Bobby Roode and James Storm thing. Let me just say this. I do agree with the people that say that this was rushed and that this could have been turned into a much better storyline. Of course it could have. Lots of storylines that TNA does could be much better than what they are. But how many of them do eventually end up being as good as they possibly could be? What makes this situation any different from the other 50 million times that they've done this before? That's the point that I was trying to make. But anyway, it does kind of feel weird to have Bobby Roode all of a sudden be this evil, conniving bastard that hates everyone all of a sudden just in 1 week. But that's what we can expect out of TNA, and out of this storyline, at least it's something cool. They did have James Storm get brutally destroyed backstage, and then they had him compete in a match, World Championship match, the 3rd World Championship match in 4 weeks. I think this was kind of a way to write James Storm off TV, because I think he has some kind of an injury or something. But yeah, Bobby Roode ends up winning the match. It was kind of funny because the referees wanted to stop the match, and then Bobby Roode asked if the match was over. The ref said no, so he pinned him anyway. But then we had AJ Styles come out. Last 30 seconds of the show, we get our main event for Turning Point. AJ Styles versus Bobby Roode. It's in the last 30 seconds of the show, and this really didn't have any build-up at all. Kind of like the James Storm Bobby Roode thing. Like when James Storm won the title, it had no build. When Bobby Roode won the title, it had a little build. And now AJ Styles be #1 contender with little build. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ Styles won the championship at the pay. Oh, and a thing I noticed backstage during the Mexican American thing is Sarita's no longer wearing her face mask anymore. So you know what? That is a great thing. Her face paralysis, I guess it's cured now, it's healed, and she doesn't have to wear the mask anymore. She could show her beautiful face to the world, and that is just a great thing. Happy for Sarita. And now the Turning Point 2011 prediction. Same graphics as last year. Since TNA didn't put a whole lot of effort into building this pay-per-view, I'm not going to put a whole lot of effort into giving my predictions. So for the X Division Championship match, I'm thinking Austin Aries. I wouldn't mind if Randy Orton won it either though. Knockout Championship match. Velvet Sky really needs to win. Matt Morgan versus Crimson. Crimson's definitely going to keep his undefeated streak. Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is definitely going to win that one.